In 2008, one of the most beautiful machines ever built, the Mazda Furai, turned into a $10 million Bonfire in just 8 minutes during a Top Gear photo shoot. The most shocking part? Mazda didn't rebuild it. They didn't even mourn it. In an industry where the budget for a single showstopper rivals the GDP of a small town, a concept car is a disposable tool. It is the most expensive way to test a theory, distract investors, or commit psychological warfare against competitors. Some are made of plywood and hot glue. Others are forged from alloys that aren't even on the periodic table yet. These are the 7 levels of concept cars, from disposable theater to machines that can literally read your pulse. And believe me, the Mazda Furai was just the beginning. Level 1. Pure Aesthetics. The Mazda Furai was built on a Le Mans racing chassis, but its body was a delicate masterpiece of Nagare design, the art of flowing wind and water. Designers carved deep grooves into its skin to channel air, but they created a fatal flaw. Those grooves acted as heat traps for the engine. When that fire started, the car didn't just burn, it disintegrated. Because the composite body was so thin and experimental, it acted like kindling. The Furai fulfilled its only purpose. It created hype and showcased a new design language. It was never meant to survive. This is the level of the beautiful martyr, a car that exists for the camera and nothing else. Level 2. The Psychological Hook. The Hyundai Envision 74 is a love letter to the 80s that made the internet lose its mind. But behind that retro-cool DeLorean-style silhouette lies a massive, expensive gamble, a hydrogen-electric hybrid powertrain. Hyundai used this design to stop you from being afraid of hydrogen. They wrapped a confusing, infrastructure-heavy future in a comfortable, nostalgic blanket of the past. This is the level of manipulation. If a car looks like your childhood dream, you'll forgive its impracticality and its astronomical development cost. It's a rolling lab designed to test your pulse, not just the road. But here's the secret they won't tell you at the Geneva Motor Show. Most of these cars of the future are hollow shells. If you try to open the door of a $5 million concept, it might actually come off in your hand because it's held together by magnets and prayers. Why? Because at the next level, the car stops being a vehicle and starts being a giant, drivable smartphone. Level 3. BMW D. The name stands for Digital Emotional Experience. The entire body is covered in 240 e-ink panels, the same tech in your Kindle, but in full color. The car can change its hue, display patterns, and even use its headlights to mimic human facial expressions. At this level, mechanical engineering surrenders to software. D can project your digital avatar onto the side window as you approach. Why? Because BMW wants you to stop thinking of a car as a tool and start seeing it as a companion. It's a concept that sells personality over horsepower, proving that in the future, the most important part of the car is the code running it. Level 4. The Audi Urbansphere. This is the largest Audi concept in history, and it was designed specifically for the gridlock of Chinese megacities. There is no dashboard, only projections onto raw wood surfaces. When the autonomous mode kicks in, the steering wheel and pedals disappear into the floor, and the seats rotate to face each other. This is the capitulation level. Audi is admitting that in the future, driving in a city will be so miserable that the best feature a car can offer is helping you forget you're in one. It's a 5-star hotel suite trapped in a traffic jam. While Audi builds lounges, others are building monsters. Some concepts are created solely to tell competitors, don't even try to enter our territory. At level 5, we encounter a machine that challenged the laws of physics just to prove it could. Level 5. The Bugatti Bolide. When it was a concept, the brief was simple. What happens if we take our W16 engine and strip away everything that doesn't make it go faster? The result was a weight-to-power ratio of 0.67 kilograms per horsepower. The most insane detail? The morphable skin on the roof intake. At high speeds, the surface physically changes, growing dimples like a golf ball to reduce aerodynamic drag by 10%. This is the level of engineering porn, where every single bolt is a masterpiece of material science, costing more than a fleet of luxury sedans. It's a middle finger to the limits of internal combustion. Level 6. The BMW Circular. It has no paint, because paint is toxic. No badges, they're laser etched, and 0 screws or bolts. Everything is held together by quick-release fasteners, so that at the end of its life, the car can be dismantled in 10 minutes and recycled. This is the level of corporate conscience. BMW is showing that the future isn't just about speed, but about total accountability. But behind this holiness is a brutal truth. Manufacturing a car this way is 4 times more expensive than traditional methods. It's a utopian concept, created to satisfy governments and environmental boards, knowing it will never see a showroom floor in this form. We have reached the end. There is a level where metal and plastic begin to act like living tissue, where the machine stops obeying buttons and starts feeling your heartbeat.
Level 7. The final boss.
The Mercedes Vision AVTR. Developed with James Cameron's AVTR team, this car has no steering wheel. Instead, the center console features a pulsating biometric sensor. You place your hand on it, and the car synchronizes its lighting and vibrations with your heart rate. On the rear, there are 33 bionic flaps that move independently, acting like scales on a snake or feathers on a bird to communicate with the driver and the environment. Its wheels allow it to drive sideways like a crab. This is the God level. Here, the concept car stops being transportation and becomes an extension of your nervous system. It is the absolute limit of what humanity can forge from electricity and pure imagination. An hourglass where the gold dust turns into the silhouette of the Mercedes AVTR, then blows away in the wind. Ultimately, a concept car isn't a prediction of the future.
It's a way to make us believe that a future actually exists. The car was never the point. The dream of who we become when we get behind the wheel is.